But really tomorrow's supply chain, what I've mentioned, will be connected and self-orchestrated ecosystems. I've mentioned that definition at the beginning. And just quickly, what is this? The first one is closed loop, integrated planning and execution. That's often where people start, although smart logistics is another area, but often people start on the supply chain planning side, sales and operations planning, where you can really say, this is the demand from the market, how do I match it with my capabilities inside the organization, flushing that back towards your procurement. So it's closed loop, meaning that my customers are almost connected to my suppliers. I'm the conduit almost in between that. Planning and execution. So it's basically flushing data back and flushing products forward. Very important how that should work. We often just do, let's call it production scheduling. That is not solving the entire problem. You almost need to do end to end. The second thing here is supply chain transparency and sustainability. It's really about creating that visibility. Now that I can do the end-to-end planning, I make all that information available to my entire supply chain. So in other words, my customers can see what's going on in my supply chain. I can see what's going on in my suppliers' supply chain and vice versa. So once again, I'm flushing products forward and people can see that, and I'm flushing information back. That's how you make that visibility happen. And we see a lot of activity in this space. If you think about the application of blockchain in supply chains, exactly this area that you want to address with that everybody sees everything that's going on, immutable transactions, you've got guaranteed outcomes. Smart logistics, we often see that as a investment leader. People are investing in this area, they do see big growth, big payoffs. If you think about your network costs, transport is often a huge element of that. Obviously, warehousing is another big element of your supply chain cost. And if you can sort out those two areas, you can see a dramatic drop in your supply chain costs and your cost to serve to customers. And once again, in this area, people say, okay, I want to have a warehouse management system because I think it makes sense. But you actually forget about, is there really a business case not maybe to outsource my warehouse or to redesign my warehouse instead of just buying a system? So once again, it's about building the business case in this area to understand it properly. Last element here is dynamic supply chain segmentation. We often do categorize our clients A, B, C, and we look at our inventory and we say X, Y, Z from a demand forecasting and variability perspective. We throw our clients in one of those 9 blocks and that's where they stay. Dynamic supply chain segmentation really means I'm changing this on the fly. So if I suddenly start seeing a forecasting from one of my clients picking up, I'm moving them to a different point in the supply chain to make sure that my OTIF and my customer service levels are always remaining great. We did an inventory reduction project for a client and they were very concerned about their service level to their clients. What actually happened, we brought the inventory down almost 40%, massive release of capital into the business, and their customer service levels actually increased to levels they've never had it before. So it just proves the point that often these things do appear counterintuitive. Let's have big inventory so we can service our customers. That is not how the case should be, and dynamic supply chain segmentation is very important in that. We'll see around this thing is artificial intelligence. So JAG will salivate looking at this, and we do see that digital champions are employing AI in all these areas to increase. A linear model can only go that far. To really squeeze out that last little bit of the stuff that you know and can accurately forecast with existing systems, you load AI on top of that, and you achieve those last few percentage points coming out of that. So very important there. The point that excites me often around this is the operating model. If you look at that, you can see that you can't run this thing as a silo. You really have to have end-to-end orchestration, which means that I'm organizing differently on that. You're going to organize your teams differently. You can't only just say, I've got a supply chain department and they run this thing for me. You almost got to put technologists together with business experts, together with customer experience people to make this whole end-to-end consolidation working for you. And the last thing is really for us is the financial payment and flows in that. Once again, a big area for blockchain plays in this area. but also the financial side of it. We often don't know what the implication is of what we're doing. I see JP are talking about supply chain simulation. Unfortunately, JP, I don't have stats on the role of supply chain simulators, but we do see that's an important aspect of this whole new, let's say, connected and self-organized ecosystem. It doesn't generate it all by itself. You almost have to focus on deliberately building that, simulating the outcome before you implementing that.